So I noticed a headline in a newspaper a couple of days back, I think. Clouds of fear grips Kiev. World holds breath. The world holds its breath. And in a way, the world is holding its breath at the moment, isn't it? Fearful of what's happening there and fearful of what might happen, what might escalate. And I wonder how you're thinking about all of this and how fearful maybe you are and whether you're holding your breath. We're hearing expressions like war in Europe that haven't been heard for 80 years. Possibly even nuclear war, which of course is devastating for all concerned. It's very possible that you're fearful. We need to get back to the Bible, don't we? We need to think about what the Bible says in this situation. And we've got sort of three fundamental facts in front of us here to hold on to cling to. As with Ukrainian Christians and Christians across the world, we look to God, don't we? We look to God, not to the powers that be, not to the nations. We look to God. And we start at the top. The first thing we remind ourselves of, perhaps we should do it every time we get up in the morning, who rules? God rules, and He rules absolutely. His rule is absolute, and the Bible says this many, many times. And we might wonder, why does it tell us so many times, the Lord reigns, the Lord rules, the Lord sits enthroned? In the Psalms, in Revelation, across the whole Bible. Why so many times? Because it's easy to forget. And I would add, it can be hard to believe with the naked eye as you look at world situations or even your own life. As you look at Ukraine now and you see the chaos and the destruction, it might seem absurd to say that God is in control, that a good God is in control, that He rules. Because to the naked eye, it doesn't look like it. Perhaps it seems more like Putin rules now. The reality is, of course, that he, even in human terms, in worldly terms, is being squeezed by the biggest sanctions ever imposed on any country. And he's isolated from pretty much the rest of the world. So even from a human standpoint, you can see that actually Putin does not rule, certainly not absolutely. And the deep reality remains that despite all the evil and chaos in the world now or at any time, God still reigns. He governs. He rules. And that rule is an active rule. We appreciate the Queen, don't we, as she enters her 70th Jubilee year. But of course, the Queen doesn't actually rule with teeth. She doesn't really reign. She has no real power to govern. Don't think of God as simply sitting on His great throne light years away, but no real input here, no real involvement, no real intervention. Because the Bible calls God a living God, and by that it means that He's not dead, He's not even just sitting there, but He's alive and He's active.